review is going to be a third time's the charm kind of a thing. For some reason, it doesn't seem like the second one uploaded. If you see that it uploaded, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to do it again. Part 2 to my Hunting Wives review, comments, spoilers, whatever you want to call them, that I wanted to share. And now it's going to be a matter of what did I already share versus what actually made it. Oh, yeah, here we go. So after the young girl was killed, there was a lot of misdirects. And I feel like I must have stepped in gum today because my face feels sticky. I felt like there was a lot of misdirects in the show. And I do feel like 8 episodes would have been enough. But it's like we had to thoroughly see how the system works. Because initially when the young girl died, they immediately looked at her boyfriend. And he was the one that was with the pastor's wife and Brittany Snow's character at the lake house the night that the girl had died. And the girl had been looking for him because she couldn't find him. Even though he said he was going to be in a particular place, he was not. He wasn't at the party where she had gone. So she left the party to go find him and ended up dead. Well, the people at the lake house were doing drugs and drinking, swimming, considering having sex, I don't know, maybe both. But they were totally in their own world. So she's somewhere between the party and the other lake house where this little encounter was happening. And that's when she had died. And they don't show that, of course. It's all in flashbacks as we're trying to figure out who has killed this young girl. And so the thing with her boyfriend is, as they're trying to find this out, someone says that the girl had an abortion, and they thought maybe he was upset that she had an abortion. Now, all of this is taking place in a community of Christians. So that would be a no-no. No. Oh, and there was another man. Oh my gosh, another misdirect. Okay, I just remembered him. I guess I needed to redo this. There was one of the pastors at the church who had a history of drinking and being with people he shouldn't be with. And he was another person that was part of the misdirects of who had done this. Wow, how did I forget that? He was he was really one of the people that you would think could have done this. I mean, you wouldn't think that her boyfriend had done this. I mean, he felt guilty about being with the wife. He just enjoyed it. He felt guilty. He was a guy. Hi, Crypto Billy. So this is me giving my review and comments on the Netflix series Hunting Wives. You may not have seen it. Don't waste your 10 hours. Okay. So this is my second part. There's a first part already up. If you have any interest, I do this because I enjoy sharing. If you don't enjoy me talking about a show, then you probably won't enjoy this, but I'm here to do what I enjoy. Okay, so the man who came out as being a person who spent time with the young girls at the church, he was also one of the people we thought might have done it. So they went really deep into his background of just being really friendly with all the kids, especially the girls. And they even had a part where he drugged someone who actually thought they were on a date with him, one of the girls. That was kind of near the end. But the point is that he was also one of the suspects that we went through. And he did, he committed crimes, drugging his parishioners' kids. That would be a crime. Pretending to like them, kind of a crime. But he wasn't the one that killed a young girl. Okay, so that was part of our series of misdirects, from the young boy to the young pastor, and then to the woman who actually owned the gun, who had absolutely no reason to kill the girl. She didn't even know her. She knew her by association. She didn't know her enough to want to kill her. But they played with that for a while, taking her in, having her husband find out that she actually had a gun and he didn't know it. He kicked her out. She ended up at a hotel where the woman who she was supposedly upset with, because, kind of the reason she was in the situation, not just because the woman talked her into getting the gun, but she also was having an affair with her. Drama, 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 right? So after these twists and turns, and deciding, she really didn't have a lot of reason to do this, but they still wanted to convict her because they couldn't figure out anything else. So I believe, if I'm remembering this right, they kind of had to set up the wife of the pastor, who actually was the one that did it. Now, because I'm redoing this, I can't remember everything I've said the last 2 times. I do remember that in the beginning of the series, the woman with the red hair, who was originally dating the pastor and his wife, was very upset when the woman broke up with her. And I thought she might have done it, because during the series, she was acting weird about the whole thing. She said, "Oh, it's fine," but she really was upset. And she seemed to try to set up Brittany Snow's character for things. So many times. I really hope the other video shows up in case I missed something. Hi guys. Me talking about a show that I watched. It's just a thing, right? Anyway, so toward the end, the pastor's wife, her brother was like a drug addict, and he was doing things that were illegal to make money. All along, she was trying to help him, to stay alive. They were like 2 kids who had been like in a situation where they had to depend on each other. And so she would be kind of someone who would maybe take up for her brother. But he wasn't the one that did this. Anyway, so he came up, he kidnapped, if I'm remembering correctly, he kidnapped Brittany Snow's character. And so again, another misdirect. No, yes, he was just doing it for his own purposes. It had nothing to do with the girl that died. All right, so we're going to tell you who did it. All right, I'm going to just tell you who did it. The pastor's wife was the one that killed her. And she not only killed her, but it was just it was kind of brutal, to be honest. And she only did it to save her skin. And she knew when she told her husband that he was going to want her to just leave. He was going to be done with her. Now, these people were all very rich, and she didn't grow up rich. And so she pretty much has done anything to keep wealth. So basically, that's her motive. She needed not only to be wealthy for herself, but for her brother, who she always ended up helping out. And I want to say her mother also, but definitely her brother. So she was the one that killed the young girl, we find out. And then later, Brittany Snow has to do the same thing everyone else has done, and that is use that darn hunting rifle to save her own life. So in the end, as I said in previous video, which we may never have an opportunity to listen to, I want my 10 hours back. There's that thing. And I believe this is a show where I did not find anyone that I really felt sorry for besides the children. The girl that died, and the boy who was manipulated by the older woman and manipulated by his own mother. And his mother ended up dead also because there was a setup to make it look like she was the one that killed the girl. And when that came to a head, one of the ladies, the redhead, I think, ended up having to kill her too, not realizing that she didn't actually do it. But she figured out who did. All right, guys. I hope that's enough about hunting wives. You can ask me questions in the comments in case you missed something. It's after 10 minutes. So I'm going to move along to the rest of my day. I hoped someone got something out of all of this. I feel like I may be done talking about it for now. Netflix series. There are some good ones. I recommend Perfect Life with Nicole Kidman. I recommend Gypsy with Naomi Watts if you like a crazy kind of a series. Good night.